Yep, looks like this Google Hangout is on air. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Breaking the Baits. This is the third one we're doing tonight, and Madam B is out for now. Ken is joining me for this video.
Yay!
And in this video, of course, like the title suggests, we're going to be talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film series
Heroes on a half shell.
as a whole. Of course, there are things that we like. There are a lot of controversial things that are in the movies, mainly the movies themselves. But just we're just going to talk all out about what we like, what we don't like about the series. And yes, my picture is backwards. I might need to try to fix that.
Actually, it's correct for everybody watching it. It's just backwards for you.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Because
I
I'm
see it
actually
now.
able to read the words and everything correctly, so.
Okay, I see it now. I'm looking at the. Okay, yeah, you're right.
That's hard to tell when you're on camera because a lot of the stuff is always backwards to you, but right to
Yeah,
everybody else.
I'm glad you corrected me on that. I. All right. Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a comic book based on a comic book franchise that centers on these four anthropomorphic turtles that know karate and fight with weapons and fight crime. Mainly, this criminal organization called the Foot, who are basically a bunch of evil ninjas.
Run
Led
by the Shredder.
Yes. Shredder is one of the most prominent villains in comic books, especially coming up in the 90s. Became a really powerful figure in comic books, especially with the way the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film started coming out. And then you had like the television show and video games. So it's probably one of the most well known franchises that's been around for what 30 years now, maybe a little bit
At
longer
least
than
since
that.
the mid 80s.
Yeah, in fact, they came out in '87.
Yeah, because the original movies were like 1990, 91, and
Yeah,
93.
I remember
So,
because my birth year, that's when they comics started coming out. I looked it up.
wow. Ha 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 ha.
But just tell me, man, where does the Ninja Turtles come into play with you? Like, how important? How are they like your top favorite comic book teams or comic books? Just what are your general thoughts about the Ninja Turtles?
Um, they don't. I hate to say they don't jump up. I mean, I like the turtles. I like the concept of the turtles. I like the original movies of the turtles. The reboots had some kind of, for me, they were mostly all CGI, which kind of to me, I started going having Star Wars Episode 1 through 3 flashbacks, and I mean, there's stuff I liked about it, but I've always really more been hardcore to the original ones. I like the practical turtles, and I
Yeah,
always enjoyed the stories. I enjoyed the characters. Splinter, being the hardcore master rat, beating on them and torturing them and making them hold pizza in their mouth while upside down, just a generalized torture, but it was fun. And the other kind of, you have a little bit of a kind of a mixture of a couple things, because the turtles live underground. They fight the Foot wherever they fight the crimes and everything. They're generally the heroes. Staying out of shadows because people wouldn't understand, 7.5 foot or 6.5 foot turtles. It was something different. People had always had ninjas, in their head of stealthy characters, slick, black, sneaking around. But then you see the turtles and you're like, they're huge, they're giant. Turtles aren't known to be fast. They're quick. They have skills. They're basically teenagers. As they have, when you catch them, they're basically in their teenage years. I like each one has a different personality,
yep,
very different personalities. Between Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, and Raphael, you have unique skill sets. You have good different personalities. They, are like kids. They don't fight, but they all come together in one commonality of taking care of business. And Splinter, basically is kind of like their father figure who's taught them everything. And it's a fun series to watch. The original one, I mean, there's a bit of comedy. I mean, they put a lot. It's not as serious. I think the second series, the reboot, was a lot more serious than the original was. The original was fun. Everybody just wanted to see Ninja. They wanted to see him come to life. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I looked at a few of the comic books, and I said, yeah, that's really cool. That's interesting. And then, of course, the turtle craze kicked off. I mean, Ninja Turtles were everywhere. I mean, your Happy Meals, they came out the cartoon comic book series, and to me, it's a generally fun, enjoyable family entertainment uh, that doesn't dive too deep into a lot of bad stuff. They just beat up the bad guys just like everybody else. They don't kill anybody.
Hmm.
And it's fun. And then they brought some of the other characters to life, like Rocksteady and Bebop. Seeing them come to life. Because I mean, I watched the cartoon, and then actually seeing those characters, get generated into some type of realistic. Granted, they were CGI, but it was still cool to see them because you could now compare them into the real world. Comics and cartoons are one thing, but seeing them in real life was what was really cool about it. And the fact that they pulled it all off practically originally was
Yep.
what really caught my attention because I just like watching them, and I know they're not real, but it's fun. I mean, it was just like they walked off the comic books, and you got to hear those voices, you got to see those characters in life, you got to see them interact when they build their little, Mikey and a skateboard and the pizza habits that they have. I mean, it's fun. I love it. I mean, I don't jump out of my way to watch Turtles, but I do generally enjoy it, and I do like the storylines. I like the way they are, and that's kind of what appeals to me. I mean, they're probably within my, I'd say probably top 10, maybe 15 movies
Hmm.
of the originals. At least the first two. I think the third one kind of went weird, but
Yeah. It did.
and it's sad, but they were trying to jump on that marketing thing of the turtles, and then they kind of just faded into obscurity, just poof. And then here we go. What was the last one? 2016, 2014, and then 2016 was the other one.
Yeah.
If you watch the comic series or the animated series, then you knew who Krang was and all of that, and that's where you got a taste of that. And Out of the Shadows, the last movie, which I have yet to see all of it, but I thought it was cool that they brought Krang, which was cool because that was one of the things that did get me to watch again into the storyline. The second animated series, I think, is where Krang came in from the Shadow Realm or whatever, and I got interested into that, and I revised my interest into the Turtles. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool stuff. I enjoyed it.
I and I'm on the fence because I'm always on the fence, and I'm one of those guys where I like stuff that I used to like. Because when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of the original movies, even Part Three. And but as I got older, uh, my mentality done changed, and I still find them entertaining. But I'm coming at things with like critical eyes now and stuff. So
You can't watch with that suspense of disbelief. You're like, ah.
and there's a lot. The old series, the original series, did a lot of right good things, a lot of things right that the newer series didn't do. But it's I think it's kind of like both. I like them. I like all of them. It just there's each one does something that I that are good and does things that are bad. Now, as far as the original run, there's a lot of things they couldn't do because of technology and all of that stuff.
Physically
So
impossible to do in a
yeah,
giant turtle suit.
and they did a great job with what they could do. Can't take that away from them. Um, but there's a lot of stuff about all of the movies I like, and there's a lot of stuff I don't like. I am a fan of the new movies, even though they're stupid. But there's a lot of stuff that I think that they did right. Um, Mainly, like okay, I like the and let's right now as far as the animated movie, I'm not going to talk about that right now because I actually did like the animated movie. As far as the old versus new, I do appreciate how well done the practical effects were for the other ones. The fight scenes were actually pretty good. The characters were great. I did like the use of practical effects. The stories were okay. They were so. And as far as the newer ones, I do like the CGI. I do like the turtle designs. Um, I like how modernized things are because I think at this point now things kind of make a little bit more sense with these movies. Now the stories, okay, yeah, they're stupid. The writing, they're stupid. Some of the characters, okay, they're stupid. But as far as the turtles themselves and like the fights and stuff, they nailed it. Because I went back, I watched part four. I think actually the reboot, the first reboot, the one that came out in 2014. I
Hmm.
think at this point that's my favorite one.
I liked
Because
Shredder in that one too, though. I think he was a little bit more badass looking.
yeah, yeah, that he was. I like them because I listened to a YouTuber, Rambo Rap for Life. I love watching his videos, but he complained about the fact about the turtles themselves, and I disagreed with him because he's like, well, they're ugly, and I'm like, well, one, they're turtles, and two, they're mutant, so that kind of makes sense, you know. So I like that they're bigger, because I'm like one of those guys who like you said, suspension of belief, you know, like the ooze. Why is it when you take the ooze, because it was never explained in the old ones, when you take the ooze, they turn humanoid? There was never an explanation for that. Why they just didn't turn into giant turtles?
Yeah, why did they have the traits of a I don't know
Like,
what was it.
like,
You know, they weren't
like
crawling on all four. They weren't just giant
yeah,
turtles, like
yeah,
walking on the ground, four-legged turtles that hide in their shell. They are humanoid. In fact, actually, every creature that pretty much touched the ooze, at least not human, but animal,
yep,
all turned into a humanoid type from four-legged to two-legged, with being able to speak English right off the bat too. Look at Rock. Well, no, I'm sorry. Wasn't it Rocksteady and Bebop? They were hybrid, weren't they?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's
I think.
I think they were. I think they
Yeah, I think
were.
those were hybrided because they had a picture of the guys before they went in there and they combined them with the DNA of the rhino and the crap rhino was steady
And
and the boar.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's why, like in the new one, they explained it, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because the ooze in the new one actually was spliced with human DNA, so it makes sense. In the older one, they don't really discuss that. They just say, okay, it just happened, and so I'm like, oh, okay, like stuff like that. The fights, I don't care what nobody says. The fights in the newer ones are better. I like the original ones for what they were, because I went back after I watched the fight from the newest one, the one with Shredder. That fight, I was like, man, this is a badass fight. If they did anything right in this movie, the fights were just off the chain. So I said, all right, let me go back watch the older ones, and like they were good, but they were not like now. I'm not like, man, that was badass what he did. Like it was a good fight, but it wasn't like brutal. In the newer ones,
Well, they were
they're
much
more
darker.
brutal. Yeah, like the Shredder, like in this one, Shredder. How should I say this? In this one, the Shredder like obviously was like handling them. Like he was slinging them around and stuff. And the
Yeah, he
other
had
ones,
when he was slinging the blades at
yeah,
him.
yeah. I mean, like I said, they did as far as the Shredder. I don't care what nobody said. This is the best Shredder they ever put on the screen. Not taking away the one from the original guy because he was cool, but that guy does not stand on no footing with this guy. Like I would be more afraid of this guy because he come up here looking like Iron Man. And plus, I like what they did with the suit. They built him a suit to combat the turtles. It makes sense. They're bigger than regular people. They're
Yeah.
stronger than regular people.
Yes.
There's no reason a normal size shredder, that's a normal person, should be able to fight them. That's one problem I had with the second movie. They made Shredder just a regular normal guy because they were trying to appease the fans.
Yeah.
And
People
I was
wanted to
like,
see Shredder like he was in the comic, not a upgraded Shredder like would be more capable of dealing with a threat of a turtle, 6 foot, 7 foot turtle who bounce them around like you wouldn't believe.
And I was glad that they never really shared any screen time because I was like, really? Like I could understand him being like him being cool, which I didn't like the one from Out of the Shadows anyway. I found the original guy to be much more intimidating. He had more personality. The only thing he had going for him was those retractable blades. That was it.
Yeah, and that's how the
Uh,
original Shredder was. I mean, he was right out of the comic.
yeah, he
I
was.
mean,
I liked him. He's badass. He was really badass.
we like the additional armor in the reboot series.
Uh, and also liked the animated movie because the animated movie did something that the other two movies didn't do. It did emphasize them more as ninjas. Uh, the way they moved, the way they worked as a team, as they um, did free running and stuff across the buildings and stuff like the animated movie emphasized that, and
Yeah,
it also emphasized the tension between Leonardo and Raphael, which we did see in a little bit in the. I think it was the first Ninja Turtle movie.
which one?
I think it was the first one where one of them got beat up.
Oh, Mikey. I think Mikey's the one
Uh,
that got beat up.
yeah, it was. I think they might have had a falling out. Not a fallout. They might have had an argument, and then the foot showed up.
Yeah, and he went on his own and got his butt handed to him.
Yeah. So but I would say the animated movie, this tension that you always see between these two characters, it bubbled up, and they fought in this movie. Like it was meaningful. It was great, and you could actually see that tension. Like they by the end of the fight, they got they but by the end of the movie, they resolved the differences,
Yeah, well,
and I
they're
really appreciated the movie for that one.
yeah. You have to consider. Remember, they're teenagers. You have to think of the mentality that they're teenagers. They obviously have all the strife and things. You know, they're growing up. They're maturing. They're learning. Granted, remember each has his own personality, and that reflects in the way they handle things. And then the cool thing is that yeah, they're gonna fight. They're siblings. And you not fight with your brother or sister or cousins. And
Yeah,
that's what kind of added a little extra to it. You're not thinking of them as adults. You have to remember they're teens. They're, I would say, maybe 15, 16 ish, give or take, maybe in the age range of their mentality and development. So that's kind of what adds an extra step into the challenge of the movie is catching that moment. Yeah, they're trained ninjas. Yes, they're supposed to have all this stuff, but all in all, they're still learning. They're still kids.
I if I will say this. Another thing I did like the original series for. I like the cast better.
I'm not a big Megan Fox fan.
No, she looks good, but I've yet to see a movie where she just blew me out of water with her performance.
Yeah, I'm the same with you. It's not working for me. I think that was just an eye candy plan, not a practical plan.
They
Um,
should have put Emma Stone in there, or Bryce Dallas Howard, or uh, not Jennifer Lawrence, somebody else, not her. You can have some eye candy, but get some candy with some talent. And this ain't an offense to her. Like I think she is a beautiful woman, but at the same
it's
time,
just not working it for April O'Neil.
no, no, she was more about looks and than actual appeal. Uh, I also, when it comes to which one of the movies you think had the best story?
Man, how long has it been? Um, I didn't mind the reboot 2014 Ninja Turtles. Um, but I think I'm trying to remember. I think it was the second one of the. Yeah, I think it was the second one, the Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze, that I really liked a lot. and because it introduced you to their origin story, you got to understand how the Ooze did him. But one, I think if I remember right, the very beginning of the movie, they're in a toy store and they beat the crap out of some criminals, and they use yo-yos and all kind of stuff. And that scene just has stuck in my head for years and years and years, even after that movie. But that was I think one of the funner ones. The first one wasn't too bad, but I think I really liked the second one of the original series, the '91 version. And I did enjoy the rebooted 2014 version. I'm kind of in between the two, but I liked Shredder when he came in there, especially the big fight scene at the end of the movie, and him with them freaking blades and slinging them and taking that tower down and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like he is whipping their butt, and that's how Shredder's supposed to be. He's
Yep.
not supposed to be a little pansy butt, and he was just stomping. And then they, of course, again they had their differences to begin with already, and now they're like understanding how each of them works together and put themselves together. And I think that in the second one too, that's kind of the same, a very similar storyline, a little bit different way of the story, but I think they were having issues amongst themselves as usual, being teens that they are, and they started kind of forming that team up and getting themselves tight. And I would say one of those two would probably rank in my number one or two, and it could be interchangeable with either one of those.
I'm with you on that. I like the 2014 one. Then I like the second one. Then I like TMNT. But the second one and TMNT are interchangeable. Um, then there's possibly the first one. Then Out of the Shadows. Then the third one. Out of the Shadows had some stuff that I did like. Represent that we finally got a Bebop and Rocksteady, and they were not chumps. They were freaking idiots, and not that to
And
some
they were
extent.
stupid in the series too. Even in the animated series, they weren't really rocket scientists. So I mean,
I'm at,
they
no,
were brute
I'm with them
force.
being stupid, but they were stupid before they turned. They were supposed to be these like killers, these like the FBI on that type level of killers, but they were just stupid. And I was like, okay, I can understand you were smart and you were badass, and then when you got injected with the serum or whatever, and you turned into these two, your mentality kind of got affected. But like, no, they were stupid before they got turned. I was like, really? I was supposed to take y'all seriously?
Yeah, see, I haven't seen that whole one, so I don't know the comparison of them from beginning to transformation. But I
You,
do
they
know
were
that,
just as stupid. They were just as stupid and goofy.
yeah, in the animated series, they were just dumb as bricks. They were just big, pure muscle, is all they were. And actually, no, they had two other characters. In fact, let me go look real quick. I think in the Secret of the Ooze, they actually made,
Yeah, Toka and Razor. Razor.
yeah, yeah, they had the other two that they brought in there. But Bebop and Rocksteady were the originals, and they had like a whole. I think I even remember the toys that came out after that. They um they had like all these different
Yeah,
mutated animals. Not even stuff that was in the books. Just they just made up crap and
yeah.
threw it out there because everybody was jumping on the bandwagon of let's go make something new Ninja Turtles.
Because I would have liked to seen in the newest one besides Crane, because Crane was literally the best thing about that movie.
See, that's what
That,
spawned my interest. I wasn't necessarily worried about watching another CGI Turtles because I mean I was kind of like again not turned off to the movie, but I wasn't turned on to the movie. I wasn't really trying to go out my way to see it.
yeah,
But then when I learned that Krang was coming in and the Terradrome was coming, that's what
best part
spawned
of the
my interest into the second movie.
best part of the movie. That
And I have, like I say, I have yet to see all of it. I've seen bits and pieces, and probably one day when I have more time, I'll sit down and watch the whole movie, and I can even be a little bit more informative. But that's what drew me to the movie. That's why I wanted to watch the next movie, only because of Krang, only because of Terradrome being in that movie, so I could see them as close to realistic as they can.
the Elias Cotiers, the original Casey Jones,
Mm-hmm.
can't mess with him. Can't rock with him. He owned that one. He had the tough guy look. He
Mm-hmm.
had the smart ass
We
attitude.
carried the attitude. I mean, he carried Casey Jones like to a T. I mean, he was like, if I were to look at a character, and granted, I mean, there are probably many other people who could have filled that role,
Yeah,
but in a comparison between what we've seen in the CGI and in that one, he takes the cake by far.
he does.
We like
Stephen
we like the personality and the traits of Shredder in the original series because he felt imposing. He felt like Darth Vader coming in. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh crap, here's Shredder."
Yeah,
But then you go to the newer reboots, and you're not so worried about the personality's not there, but the
yeah.
physicality of the character is there.
See, I think this is the casting issue because Stephen Amell. If you ever watched Arrow, he can play case like a that he can hit that level of Casey Jones, but the way the character was written in the movie, that was the problem. That was the biggest
Yeah,
problem because you watch Arrow, yes, he is about that life. He is dark. He is serious. In the movie, he was trying to be serious, but his character came off as more like he was
goofy.
18 years old.
Yeah, goofy kind of just
Yeah,
not what you expect of Casey Jones. You expect Casey Jones to be much more, hardened.
experienced.
Yeah, I mean the guy was pretty brutal with just about anything. Particularly, of course, his trademark is the hockey mask and the hockey stick, and
Hmm.
he carried a whole bunch in that backpack. I mean, he had a variety of other weapons, but I mean that was his gig, and just
That was I wanted to say, uh, as far as the foot because we talked about the shredder. The foot, I'm on the fence about because the foot in the original ones worked for the original ones because the original turtles were humanoid. They were about human size. So a regular person with a sword could put up a challenge to him. But when they came out to 2014 and they changed the ninjas up to where they wielded not swords, guns, I was happy because you're not fighting human-sized turtles. You're actually fighting superpowered mutants. So
yes,
it makes, and plus it's more modern. Uh, now, one thing I didn't like is when they came out of the shadows, they reverted back to the ninjas with the swords. And every sequence that you saw them fight the turtles, they were not a challenge in the least. And I would have understood if the foot kept it a mixture of ninjas and gunmen, but they just because the fans didn't like the gunmen for the modernized look of them, they went back to the ninjas. The ninjas didn't make any sense in the movie.
yeah. The I think also there's been a large difference in the style of the foot too.
Yeah,
You look at not necessarily their uniforms, but the way they acted, the way they operated was quite a bit different in the original series versus the reboot.
yep.
We also had the introduction of, and I can't think of his name, the baddie basically in the animated series. Um, how was that dude's name? I can't.
But which one? The scientist?
Yeah, he was basically developing.
Oh, Baxter Stockman.
Yeah, the guy who was running the show kind of behind using the foot for his purposes.
Oh,
And,
you're
and
talking about the other guy from
yeah,
the
the
first
bad
movie.
bad guy.
Yeah, okay. I can't remember his name. Baxter Stockman was in the second one.
Yeah, and he
Uh,
was organizing it, running. Basically using the foot. And Shredder had enough of him, and he just said, "I'm going to do what I want to do anyway." And got out there and started kicking some butt, taking some names.
that's I'm sorry, that Shredder was beast. In the
Especially, I can't remember, was it Leon? Was it which one did he beat the crap out of and just left on the floor to die? Basically, in the second
Raphael,
movie was, yeah,
Raphael,
Raphael got hot headed.
yeah, he fought him. I think no, he fought him once. That's when they went to go rescue. They was trying to rescue the other three, and Raphael went to fight him. And
And
yeah,
Stomp.
and that whole and I love the 2014 one because you actually get to see Master Splinter fight.
He threw down too.
Yeah, it was like watching Yoda versus the Emperor. That's how bad as
Yeah,
that fight was.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
I really
Yeah.
appreciated that. Uh, in the animated movie, there was one sequence where, and I liked it, it was pretty badass. Where these, did you ever see the animated one?
Which
It's called
series? There was two
TMNT.
reboot. There was the one that was kind of the goofy cartoon, and then there's one that was more like an anime style.
Now this one is the CGI one.
The movie itself, or the
Yeah.
oh, hang on, I know which one you're talking about. I don't think I saw that particular series. I know that I watched the original goofy kind of cartoon one, and then they had kind of like a rebooted. It was kind of like an anime
2003.
style. I watched that
2003.
one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
In the TMNT movie, there's these. There was this general, and he was an immortal. What he was trying to do was he had three generals that got, I guess, suspended. They got turned into stone, and what he was that
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
that
remember which one you're talking about.
my favorite part of that movie, and it was short, but it was really cool, was the part where they was trying to get into that building, and all of the characters were fighting the foot, trying to get into the building. It was April, Casey, Master Splinter, all four of the turtles, and the camera was panning from one to the other. And then I liked it because April was like, "Look, I'm not just going to be a reporter anymore. I'm going to be a fighter." So she was training how to use a sword and stuff. And there is one character that has been terribly underutilized, I think, and I think she definitely deserves better representation. She did get a very pretty important role in the TMNT movie, but she was introduced in a 2014 movie, but she didn't really get no shine, and that's Kurai. Yeah, the the female ninja that's under Shredder, and
Oh
I think
yeah.
she takes over the foot after he gets beat, gets killed, whatever Shredder does when he gets defeated. And I would have liked to seen more from her in all of the movies. Uh,
I like when they bring it. It's kind of like when they had GI Joe and they brought in Jinx.
but she didn't get much screen time.
Again, yeah, same thing. You have a good character who gets underutilized.
And I kind of wished, I kind of wish they would have kind of stuck with the same formula from the original four movies. Maybe even come out with a fourth movie as a part of that series. Keep the same suits and stuff. Make them fix them up a little bit or whatever, but keep the same physical suits and everything. Just to don't leave it off on Ninja Turtles 3. I'm sorry. I used to love it when I was a kid. When I grew up, I was like, "What the hell was I thinking?" Um,
I just saw some news blurb as I was looking around here and talking about a was this a new animated series? Yeah, like a new animated series called Rise of the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles, coming from looks like Nickelodeon Studios.
Nickelodeon just done pumping out the Ninja Turtles. I think this is what the fifth or sixth series since 2003.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where they're going to start this. Hmm. Let's see here. Same characters, same basics.
I'm
They're gonna
just
have some. They're gonna have a couple characters very similar to Rocksteady Bebop looks like, but they're under different names. And one's a hippopotamus. One is a mutant pig who was a celebrity chef, a fortune teller who turned into a hippopotamus. Of course, the Foot Clan will be in there, and they work for Baron Draxum instead of Shredder. and they have the teleportation powers to go through hidden gateways and control origami ninjas. So yeah, this is going to be one of those outrageous ones probably.
I
We'll see
like
how
we
this.
okay. If you could make a TMNT movie right now, because old dude Michael Bay is talking about rebooting the series. Me personally, look, I like Michael Bay. Visually, his movies look awesome.
Story wise,
Yeah, story wise, no. I can understand him partnering up with someone and just be like, okay, look, you take care of the story and the characters. I'll focus on the way the movie looks and sounds. But like, what if you could make a TMNT movie right now? Your rules, you running the show. What would you like to see?
do a show. I would like. Well, I'm kind of reading the synopsis again of this new rebooted series, and it was talking about the bad guy in this one is Baron Draxum, and it says he's an unspecified mutant warrior and alchemist from the Hidden City. He is also known as the Maker of Mutants and self-proclaimed protector of all mutant kind, and he's trying to convert humans into mutants. And he also has availability, stealth of invisibility. Man, I can't talk today. Invisibility. He can go. He can go stealthy. I've always really enjoyed, the storylines where you have mysticism. Like Doctor Strange type stuff where you throw it in there. And there's always been a lot of really cool movies with mysticism dealing with ninjas and spiritual guides and all kind of stuff like that. And I would like to. I'm kind of fascinated now and seeing they have the Hidden City mentioned in there, and I just kind of like to see some of that tailored into some old of the mysticism, some kind of I don't know. I'm kind of like what was that? The Mummy 3, where you had Jet Li as the bad guy, the Dragon King or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Having them have them run into some other supernatural entity or something. It sounds kind of corny, but I think it just if they could get the right chemistry in there and bring some kind of that
something out of
I
the
don't know
that.
ancient. Yeah, bring some ancient history in there. Something that crosses over and I know that's been used and used and used. I mean, I just used the prime example, the Mummy. But it was cool. It has a bad guy who's out of place, out of time, having to learn. You have a group of teenager guys who are getting thrown to the dogs with a new situation, and kind of throw it all together and just kind of mix it up a little bit. I mean, we get kind of. I mean, personally, I get tired of the same bad guy of the week kind of thing. Let's
Yeah,
do a long story arc, with the turtles. Learning kind of about this person, encountering the person, and eventually, finding them back to the zero realm or wherever they come from. Give it a shot and just throw it in there. That'd be kind of fun. Kind of make it like an adventure mystery, kind of Indiana Jones style. Indiana Jones style.
I want to see them go up against because it always starts with them fighting regular humans, and then it goes on to them fighting mutants, and then aliens and other dimensional beings and stuff. I want to see them bring out Leatherhead. I want to see Karai.
They actually
I want to see
could
Karai
have
come
been
back.
something.
I want to see Baxter Stockman because as much as as much as I have my issues with Tyler Perry, his movies, I actually think he made a perfect Baxter Stockman.
Tyler
I don't
Perry.
know. He was another one of the things I liked about the movie. Um,
Pasadena.
I want to see the Rat King. Oh yeah, I'm going old
You
school,
want
and
to
I
bring
want
a
to
lot of the old
go ahead, go ahead.
characters.
I also want to see. I want to see them redo Toka and Razor.
Yeah, they were kind of cheesy. Those were giant animatronics, big time.
And I think where they went with the old series, because if they could redo the old one or even make a sequel, a fourth movie to that series, I would want them to either bring out Baxter Stockman as the bad guy, the Rat King as the bad guy, or Karai. Yes, if you go with the Baxter Stockman angle, bring in more like mutants and stuff. Bring in a few more mutants. If
Yeah,
you're gonna go with like the Karai, make the foot more of
more.
a threatening
Yeah,
figure.
make it more. Now she's in charge. You know, Shredder's out of the picture at least, or maybe he's in some kind of healing or whatever the case may be. Pulling a Odin there, but yeah, bring the foot in, but bring them much more heavier. Bring them harder, really, really hard for them.
Because I don't think even in
That's
the old ones, I don't think they had a moment. The only moment they've ever had was when they jumped whichever turtle it was and beat the crap out of them.
I'm trying to think. I want to say it was Mikey though. I want to say it
I
was
no,
Michelangelo. I think it was
I want to say it was
Michelangelo in the
Leonardo.
first one.
I think it was
Who's
Leonardo.
purple? Which one's purple?
Donatello. I really
Is he the
think it
one with
was
the attitude?
Leonardo. Now that I'm thinking of it. We both had a computer. We could be looking up. We just speculate.
I know. You can wait. Look at the fingertips. The internet is right at your fingertips. Why don't you look it up, you dummy? But it's much more fun to go wing it because we we like to do that. That's what makes it fun. Makes it sound like we're educated. Don't you
Right?
like that when you're like, they're sitting there going, "Hey, I need the phone number to whatever." You have a phone in your hand that is connected. Can't you look it up? But you have to do
What?
it because it's convenient and you make them happy.
Yep. Even bring in Slash. Wouldn't mind seeing Slash.
I think some of the old school characters would be great. But again, you might. There's so many characters though. I mean, you think of feasibility, storyline, character development, and all that stuff. You can burn a movie real quick by doing all that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
you're right
think it would
about
still
that.
be cool. I mean, look at Infinity War though. I mean, you bring in. I think there was 35 characters over the last 15 years that they brought in uh, to do the movies. So it's like, holy smoke. Um, that's a lot.
Yep.
Quite a bit of a lot of characters. And you could do that with this movie. I mean, the biggest part of it, again, practical versus CGI is going to be a big thing for me. I have to, at some point, you have to accept that CGI is and will
The,
be a majority of the method because it is easier to accomplish much more of your stunt work and things that you have to do. I mean, especially the scenes that were in the animated or the CGI movies, second gen.
yep.
Turtle sliding down a mountain on his back and all. I mean,
That was
you have to
fun.
accept that there's going to be something like that. I mean, it was a fun ride. I mean, don't get me wrong. And when they're going through the sewers and everything like that, stinking around, yeah, there's just some things that you just can't physically do with a man in a suit. It's just not going to happen.
I want to ask
It's
you.
not safe, but
I want to throw out an idea. I think I know how Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 could have been a better movie. You
do
know how
tell.
they had the time machine scepter thing?
Yeah.
Had Shredder make another comeback because he came back for the first movie. I don't see how, but uh, have him make a comeback, go back into the past. Then the turtles chased him into the past to keep him from changing the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bad guys in that movie, no, I'm sorry, no. It would have no. I think the problem was with that one. It was too lighthearted. It was a little bit too goofy, and like with the villains and stuff, Shredder should have went back into the past, taken over that dojo, whatever, or that whatever that was, that country. The turtles come back, and then try to overthrow him with the help of the people. You could have got more screen time for Shredder because everybody likes Shredder, but I think the biggest problem with Shredder and those movies was he never really got like enough screen time with him interacting and stuff. Like, when was the last time we watched that any of those Ninja Turtles movie and Shredder just went and did something like so evil that he looked cool? Like, I don't remember him doing anything like that. Like,
Yeah,
somebody
he just
messed
kind of
up.
pops out. says
Yeah,
some
somebody
bad
like
stuff, looks
yeah, somebody
wicked, and then that's it.
yeah, like somebody had was supposed to accomplish a mission. They didn't accomplish a mission, and he just killed them on the spot for it. Like he never did that.
Nope. Because you have to consider the ratings. You know, if you went with a R movie, yeah, Shredder probably would have killed half the people in there and not even thought twice about it. But we're dealing with a market that is kid oriented, kid friendly. They can't get too crazy with it. You know, they can do the fight scenes. Nobody technically dies that you see, although you know damn well that dude in that truck is dead. But
Yeah,
they don't show it.
I still don't understand
They
how
don't
the hell.
show it. You know, you don't fire a rocket launcher at somebody and they survive. It just doesn't work. But they make it to where it is. And remember, the movies are tailored towards a youthful market because you and I were kids when the Turtles came out. We got to see the Turtles. We had all the crap and posters and the Villain Ice song and all that stuff, you know. And then Turtles died off, and you know Marvel came out, and then they said, "Oh, okay," and then they tried to bring something back to catch people's eye. Why not Ninja Turtles? They're cool. We like them. And so we as parents wanted to see our kids to take them to see the movies. And so it carries on to another generation of Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles.
Yep,
And that's exactly if they could make, you know, just like Deadpool. If Deadpool had been a PG movie
wouldn't work.
or movie, it would not have been as successful as it was. I promise you. Because people who knew the series, the character, and the style, you just can't do a PG movie with Deadpool. It's just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a PG movie with the Marvel stuff. It really wasn't that crazy, and that's fine and dandy. But if you want to step the Turtles up, I mean, granted, I doubt they will ever because it's just not going to happen in that market. I mean, they made them a little bit darker. You know, they're more little more. The newer versions a lot more detailed, not so cartoony, very realistic looking. You know what you would expect, maybe something that did happen to a turtle. Okay, more intimidating. You know, a
So,
lot
so
of the
let me ask you a
scenes.
question. Do you
Yes,
think that the turtles that as they come out with another movie, should it be darker or kid friendly like Marvel is? Because Marvel does touch on dark themes, but it's still at the end of the day a kid friendly movie
it is, and
series.
I don't think you're going to see a Ninja Turtle movies cross the line that they're at now. They're not. They want that market. If they do another movie, it's going to be very similar to the. I think right now they're kind of in between. I'm not saying they're completely PG. I'm not saying they're completely R-rated or more graphical content related. The themes are a little bit darker. Or at least the characters look darker. Um, Shredder was much more powerful. Um, trapping him and everything. I didn't see a lot of the risky stuff that I would expect. And I don't think if they do another movie, it's probably going to be around the same lines as this last one. It won't get too crazy because
I
they're going
want
to try to keep that kid market or youth market.
I want my
If they go darker, if they want to capture, but it's going to be like the people like us. You
yes.
know, you have to look at your market. You know, it's kind of like when you talk to an oops, I didn't mean to knock that off. My bad. When you look at your market and your market shares, you know, it's a lot of it does roll into money. They knew that Deadpool had to be an R movie in order to make the money, and so therefore they did it. With Ninja Turtles, you can go either way with that movie. You're
Yeah.
still going to get a market in there. Just which one are you going to make more with? If
Like
you go
if
kid
you have
friendly, they're going to get probably way more than they will do with, let's say, a PG-13 or R-rated movie.
like
They're just going to get more people.
if
It's just money.
like this is why I see it. If you're going to go with a serious character, you're going to have the turtles fighting someone like Shredder. Shredder is cold dead. He cold. You can't play with that. You cannot. Even if the turtles themselves act more in a PG-ish 13 way, Shredder needs to be R-rated.
Yeah, he needs to be pretty damn violent. He needs to be very enforcer-like. He needs to be the Shredder a step up even from the last movie that they were in. He needs to step it up. He needs to be that original style that we saw in the first movie, but take it up about 3 notches and add maybe the body armor that you had in the second or the second reboots, and really intimidating, almost nearly impossible to take out character. And even if you want to throw that, as I was talking earlier, the mystical type thing, maybe he's an incarnation of a previous Foot Clan. The Foot Clan really has been around for thousands of years. The Shredder is actually a particular person. It's just an incarnation of the leader over the centuries, and you have all
Yeah.
that rage and experience of a master ninja. Really right up there. They may not know everything, but make them something intimidation
The best
and make
thing
it
I can say,
darker.
the best example of the Ninja Turtles that script that they could go off of at this moment is Daredevil. The series,
Mm-hmm.
then
Season
it
one
needs
or
to be like
season two?
that. Need the movie
Oh,
if
the
they're gonna
immortality
make
guys.
it like that. It was dark.
Yeah.
It wasn't overly graphic, but people got killed. People got their butt kicked, and it focused on one thing the movies don't really focus on is like the whole nighttime aspect of the crime fighting, them walking across buildings, them looking at the city, and all of that type stuff. And I don't really think the movies address them like that, but except for the
No, they
animated one,
haven't.
it did do that more than the rest of them. But I would like to see that. And I, like I said, I wouldn't mind if they rebooted it and did it another way. Look, I say this: if they have 10 or 12 different animated series on TV, they can make 10 or 12 different movies, reboot movies. I don't see why people don't like the rebooted movies, but can sit there and turn around and watch 20 different series of Batman. I don't like the newest, the fact that they're rebooting Batman. It's like I don't understand that. Uh, and I'm looking at this picture of Crag. I don't know how to say his name, Crane, and it looks
Craig.
badass. It looks like a dude wearing a black overcoat, but you can see the Crag thing right in his chest. That one looks badass. Like I can't. I wish that they went with that look.
Crane was always kind of cool, and Crane could really pull the dark side in because he's not from our world, and he could just come in there and really start doing some messed up stuff. Really make Crane go out and be the crazy mad whatever he was. I can't remember the name of them creatures. And bring them in there.
All right,
That would have been cool.
I give you. I ask you this: your three favorite characters from any of the movies, any incarnation. I mean, what were your top three
Well,
favorite
I've
incarnations?
always liked. I like bad guys. I like Shredder. I've always liked Shredder. I've always liked bad guys. I like Leonardo. He technical type turtle.
From which one?
Uh, I think the newer one is a lot more anime, kind of geeky.
Yeah.
I do like. I mean, I like the original ones too. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of like this character because he was always working on something, always tinkering, always doing something.
Oh, Donatello.
Uh, hmm? Donatello's the nerd.
Yeah, he's the nerd.
And I always like Shredder too. Especially more of his wisdom and the way he focused and trained them. But I think it was in the CGI movie in the first one where he's torturing them because they won't talk because they were out past curfew,
Yeah.
and he's torturing them with the pizza. I like that. I like that style of Splinter. He's badass, but he's trying to teach him something, but he can be just as mean as if necessary. So those would be my three, at least out of the series.
I say out of the just the three, I like Crane. Crane was badass. I like Casey Jones from the original one, and I actually like who did I just? I was just thinking I did like Raphael from the original one. Those are my three. Even though I, even though I'm all for the new ones too, I did like Raphael from the original. So Casey, Raphael, and Craig. Crane. I'm always messing his name up. um, but it's about
Turtles.
it's about that time. I'm going to come back and do some videos and some posts on like who casting choices. Maybe we could do a video for that. I'll put the post up first on the website. Go check out the website, y'all. But anyways, guys, and we are at that time. Any last thoughts?
They've always been fun, always good shows. We'll be interested to see what this reboot. Kind of curious. I wasn't really going to pay attention to it, but I'll kind of check out. It's supposed to be the Ninja Turtles animated on Nickelodeon in September of this year, so not too far away. Otherwise, I enjoy the first movies probably more, but I'll give them all a fair shot, and I'll let you know my thoughts when I see the Out of the Shadows when I finally get to see that all in one piece.
All right.
Otherwise,
Well, guys, you heard it. We've given our discussion about this in the comment section below. Let us know which one of the movies are your favorite. Also, let us know practical versus CGI, as well as old versus new. And be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on this channel, as well as stay tuned for Tuesdays and Thursdays because we do upload videos and we have a lot of different content. So, guys, enjoy what we do put up on here. We greatly appreciate your views. We greatly appreciate your time. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys later.